Now is S.N. Srivastava, former Delhi Police Commissioner with us, Arvind Kumar Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, and we also have S. Balakrishnan, senior journalist. Namaste, gentlemen. S.N. Srivastava ji, I'm going to start with you. What is this happening? This is shocking, these details. Yes. Once this whole thing comes to the fore, would you agree that those who aid and abet should be treated in the same manner as gangsters?
Certainly those who aid and abet, they should be treated as gangster. The law is very clear on that. You see, I was just hearing the talk which Anvit was doing. Initially, it's in Delhi NCR area. It started with, when the land was sold, there was some money which was available in that area. And the small criminals who were initially doing other type of crime, they started extortion. And as it was being mentioned, they also have entered into organized crime. And as you know, they tend to stay in the jail for a long time, where the various criminal gangs, they collaborate, they try to find out how they can help each other, how can they make their gang stronger, make it difficult for the law enforcement agencies to take legal action against them. As the person was mentioning, I don't know who Anvit was talking to, for the purpose of weapon, for becoming a larger gang, having more manpower, and also in terms of hideouts, they collaborate with each other and they strategize, and this way they try to thrive and remain active in the criminal world.
Well, it's quite shocking that somebody would look at it like this, and quite ingenious, Arvindji, that they would look at the jail as a repository, as a place where they can recruit, they can recalibrate, they can also come together and say, all right, let's organize ourselves rather than fighting outside. Let's think here together and let's execute and collaborate. This is what the jails were being used to, and how is it that the prison authorities never were wiser to it? Till the time this Lawrence Bishnoi Sidhu Moosewala comes to the fore.
You're asking me?
Arvind Jain ji, I'm asking. Arvind Jain ji, can you hear me? Ji.
Yes, I can hear you. Actually, there is some disturbance in audio, but yes, but I can hear you. So all this is.
Ji, boliye, please go ahead.
All this is very shocking, the details which are coming out, and I think it's a very wise step by Home Minister to order NIA to conduct raids across several states, because generally these informations, these intelligence collections are confined to the state police only, but once NIA gets involved, they can conduct raids across the states, and I think the yesterday's raids have been very successful. But what is required, in my opinion, is that the illegal properties which have been accumulated by these gangs over a period of years, they should be confiscated. There is a provision in UP Gangsters Act for that. And if similar provisions are there in acts of different states, then it should be utilized. And all the ill-gotten wealth, ill-gotten properties of these gangs, they should be confiscated. Frequent raids should be organized on their hideouts. Their supporters, their associates should also be nabbed. It's a very long drawn process, and it will take a lot of time, and all the states should cooperate with the NIA in this venture.
Srivastava ji, before I bring in, go across to Mr. Balakrishnan, the fact is, Srivastava ji, I've got Neeraj Atri, a very senior journalist, Hemant Atri, a senior journalist who was with us. He is also telling us that top police sources are saying that these gangsters pay to get mokoka slapped on them, because they use this loophole that till the time the court finishes hearing this entire aspect on mokoka, they cannot be shunted or shafted out of the state. So then they are playing within the Delhi NCR, and they continue to remain in Delhi jails. They are lodged in the same jail.
You see, I don't have any personal knowledge about they paying for Mokoka being slapped on them. And because it is not so easy for anybody to slap Mokoka, because it's all very well examined, how they form a criminal gang, and that thing, there are a lot of stipulations, there are a lot of restrictions in use of Mokoka. So it is not that easy to stay in the jail for a long time. But I also want to say whether they want to stay in the jail for a long time or not. See, what is important is once they remain in jail, especially the hardcore of them, they should remain in the solitary confinement, so that they are, because jail is meant for isolating them from the general society. So once they are in the jail, they should remain in the solitary confinement, at least the hardcore ones. I understand that the facility is not as much to keep many of them in the solitary confinement. Next, we also find that they are able to communicate with the outside world, their gang members, etc., from the jail. So this is another thing which one should look into, how they are able to get the phone, internet connection. I mean, what is the, since I was in Delhi, I was special CP, special cell, which was basically tasked with the, hardcore criminals and counter-terror activities. Number of times we thought of making the Tihar jail area as an internet-free zone. I mean, basically, there should not be any internet available to the criminals, because they're still able to get the mobile chips and the phone inside the jail. But since the locality is all around, it was very difficult. So why not shift it to another place for solitary confinement, where you can very easily, have no internet facilities there, and cut them off from the rest of the world. This is one reason why they are able to thrive. Not only the hardcore criminals, but also the terrorists. They are able, from the jail, they are able to connect
Access
with the
and connect.
other.
No, and it is a few thousand rupees, 50,000-60,000 rupees. Cops are willing to go ahead and say, all right, I'll get you a phone inside. They're not understanding, or perhaps not caring about the damage that they would do. Fact is that these terrorists should be in a solitary confinement, but the jails also should be isolated. Why should our jails, the most safe, secure jails, and perhaps the jails where the hardened criminals are kept, why should they be right in the middle of the city? You look at Tihar in Delhi, Arthur Road Jail in Mumbai, right bang in the middle of the city. You have this. So we have to think of isolating the jails also, so that you can create jammers, you can create network isolation, and of course move on with technology. Mr. Balakrishnan.